Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the weeds on that Premier League match between Wolves and Brighton from May 10th.
Yeah, a big one. Especially, for Brighton with those European hopes kind of on the line.
Right, and Wolves needing to bounce back after a loss. We're working mainly from the match report here, so we've got a good, solid account, the sort of to and thud of what actually happened on the pitch.
Exactly. And our goal isn't just, oh, it was 2-0.
No, we want to look at the moments that matter, the tactics. Why did things swing the way they did?
And what it means for both sides going forward. So it's more than just a basic report. It's digging into the analysis, the Nindin.
And getting those different perspectives, the Goknin Kanhan, from the managers, seeing how they saw the game unfold, it felt like a pivotal game, didn't it? Especially for Brighton's form.
Definitely a shift.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at the report, where do we start? How did it kick off?
Well, the report actually mentions Wolves having the first real sniff at goal. Only about 7 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
Gaida's volleyed one over the bar. Came from a Kuna free kick, so it suggests Wolves came out trying to make something happen early.
Right, starting on the front foot at home. You'd expect that, trying to set the tone after a defeat.
Yeah, get the crowd going. But, like you often see, early chances don't always tell the whole story.
True. Because Brighton weren't far behind in creating something, were they? Even if it didn't count initially.
Exactly. The report details Welbeck finding the net, but the flag goes up straight away.
Classic moment of suspense.
And then VAR gets involved, confirms the offside. Minta was the issue, apparently interfering with play.
The interference rule. So even if he doesn't touch it.
Right. If his position affects how the defenders can play Welbeck, then it's offside. It's one of those really, really fine margins, isn't it?
It really is. Must have been frustrating for Brighton thinking they'd scored. Shows how technology is just part of the fabric now.
Totally. But they didn't seem to let it rattle them for too long, because the report flags the 28th minute as, well, pretty crucial.
The penalty.
The penalty. It says Kuna lost the ball just outside his own box.
Dangerous area.
Very. And then, trying to win it back, he fouls Weifer inside the area. You can almost picture it the initial mistake, then that slight desperation to fix it, leading to the foul.
That chain reaction, isn't it? One error under pressure leading straight into another happens so fast at this level. And the report adds some interesting context around this penalty, too.
It does. Welbeck steps up, scores it calmly, and get this, it was his 10th Premier League goal this season.
Oh, wow. First time he's hit double figures in the league.
That's what the report says. Big personal achievement for him.
Definitely. And Brighton's penalty record this season.
Perfect, according to this. They haven't missed one.
Clinical.
And on the flip side, Wolves, they've conceded the most penalties in the league.
Ouch. So it's like a perfect storm leading to that goal. Brighton's efficiency meets Wolves' vulnerability in that specific situation.
Seems that way. Okay, so Brighton are 1-0 up. What was Wolves' reaction after the break? Did they come out fighting again?
The report suggests they tried. Mentions Kuna having a pop from distance around the 57th minute, forced a save from Verbruggen in the Brighton goal.
Okay, so putting some pressure on, testing the keeper, maybe struggling to create closer chances.
Could be. But the really eye-catching thing Wolves did, highlighted in the report, was just after that chance.
The substitutions.
A quadruple substitution. Pereira, the Wolves manager, taking 4 players off and bringing 4 on in one go.
Wow, that is bold. Really trying to shake things up, inject some fresh legs and ideas into the attack.
Absolutely. A clear statement of intent. And later on, the report notes he also brought on a 17-year-old debutant, Matheus Main.
Interesting. Maybe looking for a spark or even thinking about the future a bit there.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And we actually get Pereira's take on those changes, his sort of Goknin Kanhan, from his post-match comments in the report.
What did he say?
He felt the game became unpredictable and very open afterwards. And crucially, he said they lacked the intelligence to control the pace.
That's quite revealing, isn't it? Suggests the big change didn't quite work as planned, maybe even disrupted their own structure.
Yeah, it sounds like he felt they lost some tactical shape, some control, maybe became a bit too chaotic trying to chase the game.
And that lack of control, did Brighton exploit it?
Looks like it. The report describes the second goal, the one that sealed it for Brighton, coming late on, around the 85th minute.
How did it happen?
Adingra played a through ball, took a deflection apparently, but it found Gruda. And he produced what the report calls a neat finish over Sa, the Wolves keeper.
Game over, pretty much. 2-0 down with 5 minutes left.
And the report really hammers home how important that win was for Brighton. Says it was only their second victory in their last 9 games in all competitions.
Wow, only 2-9. Okay, yeah, that puts the result into perspective. They really needed that for those European hopes and just for confidence, you'd think.
Absolutely breaks that poor run of form. And we also hear from the Brighton manager, Herzler, in the report. His perspective, naturally, much different from Pereira's.
What was his take?
He was, quote, very happy that the players showed this performance. Said they stuck to the plan and defended quite well, and were pleased to take the chance for the second goal when it came.
So, textbook execution from his point of view. Stick to the plan, stay solid, take your chances. A real contrast to Pereira's assessment of losing control.
Stark contrast, yeah. Reflects the result perfectly. So, zooming out a bit, what does this mean for the league table, especially that European race?
Well, the report puts Brighton up into 9th place, and it mentions that 8th place might be good enough for the UEFA Conference League this season.
Depending on cup winners and things.
Exactly. It's not guaranteed. Depends on who wins the FA Cup usually. But it's a possibility that they're now closer to, though the report also says Bournemouth could still leapfrog them, so it's definitely not settled.
Still all to play for around those spots. And for Wolves.
They dropped down to 14th. That's after 2 defeats in a row now. And the report points out this loss ended a really good run for them, a club record 6 wins on the trot before these last 2 games.
So a real halt to their momentum then. That's tough.
Yeah, and there's another stat in the report that's pretty telling for Wolves. Apparently, they hadn't won any of their previous 9 home league games this season when they conceded the first goal.
Oof. That suggests a real problem chasing games at Molineux once they go behind. That's a difficult pattern.
It really is. So, looking ahead, the report briefly touches on the final fixtures. Brighton have got Liverpool at home, then Spurs away. Tough run-in.
Very tough. And Wolves.
They've got Crystal Palace away, and then they finish at home against Brentford.
Right, so still crucial points up for grabs for everyone involved in these last couple of games.
Definitely. Okay, so if we're boiling down our nunt from this deep dive into the report.
Key things seem to be Brighton grabbed a massive 3 points, fueled by that penalty and the late clincher. Really keeps their European dream alive.
Welbeck hitting that personal milestone. Brighton staying perfect from the spot those details matter to.
Yep. And for Wolves, despite starting okay and trying that big tactical switch, they couldn't find a way back after going behind, and now their strong run is firmly over.
The different managerial takes Herzler pleased with the plan, Pereira feeling they lost control. That really tells the story, too.
It does. So maybe the final thought for you, listening along, is just how much hinges on those single moments.
Like the penalty decision.
Exactly. Or that VAR call earlier. Or even the timing and effect of those substitutions. Think about how different things might have been for Wolves if Guedes scores early, or if that quadruple sub actually did spark a comeback instead of, well, apparently making things more unpredictable.
Those fine margins again. It shows how one match's narrative, and maybe even a team's whole season, can pivot on just a few key events.
Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.